quiet. I'm hunting wabbits.
No, I'm not. I'm hunting for George, an Australian homewares brand run by two sisters whose $20,000 investment 7 years ago is now turning over $5 million per annum. That's a lot of wabbits. Hey, before we get stuck into episode 398 of the Small Business Big Marketing Show, the Marketing Gold is made possible thanks to Prosper and American Express. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small businesses, and you can quickly apply online for loans up to $250,000. Get a real quick decision and, in most cases, receive the funding in under 24 hours. Call 1300 882 867. See how Prosper, Prospa, can help you out. And you got to love the American Express Business Explorer credit card. It comes with a 50,000 points bonus every year, a low interest rate, and 2 points on every dollar you spend. Not to mention a couple of tickets to the Amex Lounge at Sydney International Airport. Terms and conditions apply, but you knew that. Search Amex Business to find out more.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, are a motivated business owner. You're ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Guess what? Big show today. We catch up with sisters Lucy and Jo, who are the founders of Hunting for George, which is a homewares brand that's experienced some serious growth over the past few years. I've got an idea about you and I meeting up that I'd like your opinion on. And with the help of website and SEO expert Dave Jennings, I launch a new segment called Ignite Your Site. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in.
Do you need a speaker for your next conference? Recommend Timbo to your event organiser. Or better still, book him. Tim Reid, that's reid.com.au.
Hey, before we get stuck into today's guests, and you are going to love this interview with the girls from Hunting for George, a couple of things. You know, a lot of people ask me if I run my own events. Now, I speak at a lot of events throughout the year around the world to rooms of small business owners, but I don't run my own events. But I'm sort of thinking, heading into the new year, that it might be a good idea. So I want to run something past you. If you like it, I'm going to give you the opportunity to email me and sort of tell me your thoughts around, yeah, I'm in, or wouldn't mind doing it, tell me more, that kind of stuff. I'm also going to email my list and get a sense of what they think, of which you may well be on it. So how's this for an idea? 10 business owners catch up every second month for a half day in Melbourne and Sydney. So you're either in Melbourne or you catch up with me in Sydney. I'll share an update on an aspect of marketing that I think you'd be interested in for, maybe half an hour up front. And then you get to share where you're at with your marketing. Ask questions of me, plus you get to tap in to the collective power of the rest of the other 9 business owners that are there. They would be non-competitive. Once someone in your industry has booked a seat, then there won't be the opportunity for someone else in that industry. So it'll be, don't worry, you won't be sitting alongside your competitors. And then I think we go off to lunch, which would be kind of a nice thing to do. So I'm thinking around $595 a session with a 12-month commitment, right? So that would be meeting every second month, right? So $595 times 6, whatever that is, do the math. That's what I'm thinking. Open to ideas, but I do love the idea of catching up with you guys. I was going to say more often, but we never catch up. So email me, tim@timreid, reid.com.au. As I said, I'll also be emailing my list to get their sense of whether they like the idea or not. And we'll see where that goes. Might not go anywhere. Maybe you don't want to meet me. I don't know. But let's find out. Hey, also, Ignite Your Site. It's a new segment of this show. Why? because far too many business owners are frustrated by the ineffectiveness of their website. So I've teamed up with one of Australia's leading website and SEO experts and a great old mate of mine, Dave Jennings from Melbourne SEOservices.com. Now, each week, Dave and I will identify a problem experienced by many websites and provide an immediate solution with the sole purpose of helping you get more inquiry and more sales from that website that you've got, probably spent a whole lot of dough on, but it's not producing the results you were hoping for. So Ignite Your Site is that segment that will help you kind of turn all that around. Look out for the first tip after today's interview. You and I will be meeting some amazing business owners and marketers over the coming weeks. I've got Canadian entrepreneur Troy Packett, who shares how he's building an empire selling fresh canned air. Yeah, it still makes me laugh. And ex-TV journo Renee Bunster, who is smashing it out of the ballpark with her hot chili sauce, aptly named Shit the Bed. You heard it right, Shit the Bed. But right now, let's meet Lucy Glade-Wright and Joe Harris, who are the founders of homewares brand Hunting for George. Launched in 2010, it's now turning over about $5 million per annum with 5 full-time staff, 2 part-time staff. It stocks 5,000 different products. They've got an email database of 60,000, an Instagram following over 200,000. They are doing okay. And we cover plenty of ground, business and marketing ground in this chat, including how to build a brand from scratch, working with family, the power of creating your own product line and content strategy instead of relying on others, and so much more. There's marketing gold dripping out of this interview. I started off by asking where the name Hunting for George came from.
Well, the idea for Hunting for George came about because Joe and I were just ready to do something different. We had spent a lot of time overseas. We'd experienced some incredible retail in Europe and the US. And when we came back to Australia, we just thought, we can do this better. There's something that we can bring to this space. And that's how we really started.
Love that.
It was very traditional here and a bit more sterile, I guess. And we thought, well...
What do you... What? Online homeware stores?
Well, we started looking at a physical space, didn't we? And then the reality hit of you needed to physically be there, the overheads as far as rental, and we thought this isn't going to work for us. And we turned our attention to online. And we got really excited when we were thinking of all the things we wanted to bring to the physical space in retail, but how do we translate that into online? Give it an amazing personality.
Were you guys backpacking all those years ago, or were you actually over there doing a bit of a reconnaissance?
It was a bit of both, though, really.
You can't do a backpack and a reconnaissance.
I was over there for 4 years.
We were not thinking of it when we were travelling.
No, we didn't have that in the back of it.
Something we loved.
Yeah. I went over there thinking I would spend a year there working in a pub, but I actually landed a graphic design freelance gig and I just got some incredible experience. It was before the GFC, so junior graphic designers got amazing jobs. I just got to experience some incredible brands. And so
you're a designer by trade?
Yes.
What about you, Luce?
I'm a nurse.
Yeah, that would be Joe, right? Yeah.
We are very
we get used to it.
So you're a nurse?
I'm a nurse by trade.
I love this.
Yeah, so we very different backgrounds, which is a big reason as to why this has worked. So we had that common goal of what we wanted, but we've got very different skill sets.
Vastly different.
Yeah, so I loved...
What do you bring?
Oh, do you know what? I love customer service. Being in nursing, that was customer service at next level, like completely amplified. If you think about the people we deal with, it's every kind of emotion, but, amplified, as I mentioned. So anger, anxiety, fear, everything. So I love that. I love tailoring, how I was when I was nursing, tailoring that to a customer's approach and doing that in retail. So the ability to listen and tailor for them. And I'm all about relationships, so that I kind of look after customer service and kind of relationships, whereas Lucy, with her design background...
What a great combo.
Yeah, it actually works really well.
You've clearly had some success. Would you say that underpinning that is the diversity in what you two bring?
Yeah. I definitely, and we're very different to a lot of retailers.
Lucy's
with our
looking at me going, I
backgrounds.
don't know about that. I'm kind of running this ship, and Joe's just along for the ride.
No. Our customer service is one of the things we pride ourselves on, and Joe has been the backbone of that 100%. And it's not only the relationship that we have with our customers, it's the relationships that we have with suppliers, and that's incredibly important as well. And Joe is the backbone of that, and making sure that we've got really great strength of our community. So, yeah, that...
Let's just hold the thought on customer service, because I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
The name hunting for George, let's just get that one out of the way. Come on. Who's George and why are you chasing him?
It's on your
George is actually a Georgia, and it is Joe's daughter. Joe said
there
it
you
one
go.
day, hunting for George, and it kind of just stuck. And look, we liked it because it was intriguing and it had no particular connotations attached to
Yep.
it. So it sort of stuck, really. And now when people think of Hunting for George, they think of us, and they think of that really cool homewares retailer.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, so you come back from travel, you've identified a gap in the market overseas. But London, I'm guessing, is that kind of where Europe-ish?
I've spent most of my time in London.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've identified this gap where it's just boring, and you go,
Yep.
we can do this so much better.
Yeah.
You come back here thinking you're going to start a retail store, a high street store, as I would say.
Yep.
You've gone online.
Yeah.
You launched with 3 brands, none
Yeah.
of which are your own.
No.
What's the business look like in 2010 in year 1?
We were in Joe's spare room. We didn't have a space, so our very small product range, which fit on a couple of shelves in Joe's spare room, basically. We were both working full time.
Yeah. Love it.
Joe was sending out parcels from the Alfred Hospital, I believe, at the time, because that was her.
Everyone got a special Alfred Hospital stamp on their delivery. I was hoping they wouldn't look too closely.
This was out of ours, Joe.
Yeah, of
wasn't it?
course, out of ours. Not of course with
I love this hustle.
Yeah.
I love it. So you're
Totally.
literally out of the spare bedroom.
Totally.
You're taking the goods to send from your work.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we've talked big. We've talked the talk ever since we started, fake it till you make it.
Mate.
And no one would have known from the level of quality of our website to the level of quality to, customer service and how things were sent out. It was just exceptional. Those were the things that we could control, and we made sure that we did those really, really well. Because in the early days, you've got to rely on that word of mouth. Every touch point with your customer is so
Yes.
important. So, yeah, we focused a lot.
When you say fake it till you make it, I get it. And I'm pretty much everyone who's sat in this chair who's been successful with their small business has at some point done that.
Yeah.
You must have at the same time been, you know what, this is our ticket out. This is your ticket out of graphic design.
Yeah.
This is your ticket out of nursing.
Yeah.
We are serious about this. Maybe it's a side hustle now, but this is going to be our dream business, right?
Yeah. And I think we had that wake-up call because in the first couple of years, I think we both treated it like a hobby, and it wasn't until sort of 2 years in when we went, do you know what? Are we serious about this? And when we made that decision, we said, this is what we want to do. Everything changed. It was a mindset. I think as soon as we went, this is what we want to do for the rest of our lives, we're going to do this.
Wow.
Everything then started to fall into place. Because if you treat it like a hobby, it will always be a hobby.
Love that.
If you treat it like a full-time,
Yep.
career, then that's what you're going to get.
It was scalable too. So we were putting in the time and, cash that we could afford. So we thought, well, if we took this more seriously and put in the extra time and went full-time with it and gave it a red-hot go for a year or two and see how it went, then we could see that it could be a viable business.
Tell me about that conversation. When you've gone, you're leaving the Alfred, you've been busted because there's way too many stamps.
Yeah.
The stationery cupboard's just gone like,
Rid me out.
where are all the postage notes going?
I think we were really excited, and we kind of just looked at each other and went, well, yeah, let's just do it. And we kind of set it up in that, we could afford to fail. You've got to give it a try.
What do you
don't
mean you could afford to pay? Had you replaced your incomes?
Well, we thought we could go back to work. If we gave it a go for a couple of years and it didn't work out, then look, you're not going to.
You're both
yeah.
in jobs that you're always going to get.
Yes.
another
Could go
job
back
in.
and get work if needed. So
Yeah.
if we needed to pay some bills, we thought, well, that's always there if required.
Joe was always able to pick up extra. Everyone needs a nurse, and I
Yeah.
went to freelance design. So there was always an out. If it all went pear shaped, we knew we could find work again.
When you decided to stop it being a hobby and to jump and all in, can you remember what changed? What was the significant thing?
Just our mindset. I think all of a sudden it was direction. We had clear goals, and it just everything shifted. It's hard to pinpoint what happened, but something happened, and it all fell
I get
into
goosebumps.
place.
I seriously get
Yeah.
goosebumps talking about this stuff because I've been caught in doing a whole lot of different disparate things, all within marketing, and I've spoken to many people who have, and every time they say, the minute I committed to the one idea, and one's sometimes a bad number in business because it's all your eggs in one basket,
Yeah,
right? But the minute you commit, the universe just opens up and
Yeah.
says, what do you want?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And you can't put a finger on it.
You can't put a finger on it. And I think just confidence. Anything you do, if you do it confidently, other people will follow. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. Scary. I just love it. The energy's changed. So you're 12 months. You're all in. What's the? You had a product. That's what I wanted to talk about. The places you'll go. Print. Was this a
yeah.
bit of a kind of tipping point for hunting for George?
It was. I mean, so the first couple of years we were selling other brands.
Other brands.
I designed a print for my boyfriend at the time, and he
how's he
really
going?
He's now my fiance.
Oh, I love it. What do you mean at the time? He's still around.
He's also our marketing manager. So he's very much in the
How's
family.
that going, Joe?
Do you know what? We don't bring anyone within our business unless we've got a skill to add to the party.
definitely-
So no, he's amazing.
So,
But he was fantastic. So I basically gifted him this print. It was essentially the words to this incredible story, The Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. I'd actually never been familiar with it until I watched this video on YouTube of a bunch of, troopers in the desert for Burning Man.
Yes.
And that was how they were promoting Burning Man, and they were saying all the lyrics to this novel.
All right.
All the words to this novel.
Yeah.
And I thought they're beautiful lyrics. I'm going to typeset them out, create a beautiful print, gave it to Jono, and he just said, this is great. You should sell this. And for a long time, it was a long time, wasn't it, before we eventually went, yeah, righto, we'll chuck it on the website and see how it goes. And then within I probably took about a month, and we'd sold out, and we hadn't really had any bestsellers, and then all of a sudden we had to print more. We didn't really have a product that we'd actually just dialed that our customers just loved straight away. And that was the first one, wasn't it, that we just thought, well, wow, okay.
So it was a print.
It was a print. It was an art print. So that was the very first product that we designed, and we still sell it to this day. It's incredible. And
What a great story.
yeah, and to be honest, that kickstarted the business for us. It gave us a lot of confidence with product design, and from that we've grown our range. But yeah, that was just the start of it all, really.
Righto.
Just a simple birthday present turned into a
We had
business.
an audience though, didn't we, that we could start just playing around and finding gaps in the market and supplying products. And even better is when you can make your own product, and all of a sudden it's more viable because your
Yeah.
margins are...
Totally.
Gosh, it sets you apart from everyone else that are reselling products. So we've now got our own products that, have better margins.
Yeah.
And we can be creative and have some fun with as well.
How do you, in those early days, because hunting for George, no one's hunting for George, right? You're not going to a search engine and going, what was under hunting for George?
Yeah.
How were people finding you?
Look, in the early days, it was very organic. And look, even to this day, it's all been pretty much organic. It's only in the last couple of years that we've actually sort of started to pay for,
When you say organic,
so just zero spend on
Word of
social
mouth?
media, word of mouth, emails, Facebook, Instagram. We didn't really come from a marketing background. So in the first couple of years, it was just literally us just doing our thing until we sort of had our marketing sorted. That took a little while, that wasn't our expertise. And yeah, it came from It came, I think, actually, the exposure came from when we did that first product. It was unique. So we needed to create a photo of that unique product. So then all of a sudden, as well as having a unique product, we also had unique content because we had to create our own content. And that changed the game because that stands out on social media. That stands out on Instagram. People are liking it. People are seeing something for the first time. People start talking about it. So having content that people wanted to share, that's what started to grow our business. And that's what I guess I mean by organic.
Yeah, okay. And social media underpinning all that, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Big
absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. Listeners, I'm talking to Lucy and Joe, I was going to say the terrible twins, but not really, just sisters.
I love that you say that, mate.
Founders of Hunting for George. Now, tell me, let's talk marketing, because you say we're not marketers. You're not okay. You're not from a marketing background. You sort of are, Lucy, in the sense that you're a graphic designer. But
from the creative side of things, I guess.
But one of the first things you say, Joe, is you love customer service. I think all of us are marketers. It doesn't mean you have to have done a degree, right,
true.
to shine in marketing. So let's talk marketing. What's your view on marketing generally?
Marketing has to be holistic, just like anything else in your business.
Word.
Yeah, do you like that?
Holistic. Is that like authentic and integrity?
And we're all those things, Tim. The thing with marketing is that you can't just do one thing and expect it to work. Everything has to roll out across multiple channels, and also it comes to your entire business. So you can have incredible branding, incredible marketing. You can ram, sales through the doors and customers through the doors, but if our back end, if our customer service and our fulfillment doesn't live up to the brand, it's all one big beast. So marketing is just a way to get us out there.
Yes.
But ultimately, I think you need to make sure your business is strong enough and reflects how strong your marketing is as well.
I think more people have to get that, which is great marketing, generate great inquiry, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But what you do with that inquiry...
And that's where you get your loyalty. That's where you get that customer retention. When they have that amazing experience, they want to come back again.
We've got that same voice across all of our channels. And this is when we started our first website, it's our voice. It is us. It is real. Yeah. And that is carried through all of our touch points with customers, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, live chat, phone, even when people call into our shops. It's consistent. So I think that's important.
Tell me about customer service in the way you approach it, because it's essentially an online business, although we're going to talk about this experience store that you've opened, but customer service online, what underpins your philosophy?
Do you know what? It should be no different online to any other business, whether you're a plumber or a doctor or in retail. I think customer service comes down to listening.
Yep. You
work out who your customers are, what they want, how is it delivered, and
how do you do that?
Talking to them.
Right.
It's not being scared to put yourself out there to generate conversations. So whether it's a conversation on Instagram where someone's written a question, don't ignore it. Talk back to them. If it's a comment and a review that's negative, someone's taken the time to give you that feedback. The least you can do is listen to it and have a conversation back saying, well, what could we do better to improve our service? So I think it's just talking. It's just talking to people, and people want to be heard. And if they take the time to give you feedback, then that is pure gold. If you've got them engaged enough where they're willing to tell you what they think.
And often I think some of the most loyal customers come from some that may have initially had a negative experience. Perhaps something hasn't turned up in the post and we go above and beyond to resolve it. And sometimes they're the most loyal.
Yeah, some of our best reviews through Google, so they're quite powerful because they are, everyone wants to know what their peers think of a customer. You can't dictate kind of what your reviews are. But yeah, some of our best reviews were from where we stuffed up. We've sent the wrong product or it's arrived broken. But the review has been so great as to how amazing the customer service was to resolve it. I mean, that just speaks volumes, because I think people want to know the worst that can happen and maybe the best. They ignore all the mediocre ones in the middle.
You could almost manufacture mistakes in order to fix them. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Every 10th order arrives broken.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not as silly. I think we're onto something here. A few years ago, and in fact, he wrote the foreword to my book, Jay Bear. He's written a book called Hug Your Haters, and he came on and we talked about that, and it was exactly what you just spoke about.
Yeah.
It's all very well for someone to go, I love hunting for George, love the getting it in the post or whatever.
Yeah.
But when someone says, you know what, hunting for George, bloody vase arrived, it was broken, I was distraught, it was a present for my friend next day, and you fixed it within like 12 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a story that a customer can then tell. They're probably going to put it on their Facebook. They're going to, it's gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so for every 10th product, make a pack now, something wrong with it.
Give it a kick.
Yeah. Well, I used to work with this art director when I was in advertising. This guy, his name was Fish, or his nickname was Fish, actually, and he hated clients always changing things. You'll love this, Luce. He hated clients making changes to designs, right? So he would always put a fish somewhere in the design, no matter what the design was for, whether it was an ad for the newspaper or a billboard or whatever. And the client would go, I really like the idea, but can we take that fish out?
Yeah, that was it.
And the client felt as though they'd
like
kind
it.
of, and so sabotaging things in order to get the result you're looking for. I love it. You say, Lucy, we're a content making machine.
We are a bit.
Music to my ears. From a very early stage of the business.
Yeah, for us, we are quite creative, and we've always been creating content. But there was one particular collaboration that we did with an artist, and we took beautiful photography. We did a video, and I had it in my head. This is probably, I guess, our third year in the business, and I had it in my head that it was going to be shared by a particular design blog, and it was going to be massive and it would be awesome. Yeah,
we're away, mate.
And that didn't happen. They said, look, it's not right. Sorry, and so I had all this content, and the way that I thought it would be distributed was no longer on the table. So I'm like, well, we're going to have to do this ourselves. That forced us to push it out in every single channel we had available. Had no money, had no budget. So it was just organic. We just sent through emails. We put it on Instagram. We talked about it on Facebook. We asked friends to share it. We asked the artists involved in the collaborations to share it. It was a really great success. In the end, from our distribution, we had a magazine come and pick it up. They wanted to talk about it. Anthropology in the US approached the artists about the collaboration that we did. So that's when we were like, we've got a really powerful audience.
So there's two learnings there. But first, what was this content that you created? Was it a blog post? Was it a series
It was an artist collaboration. So we were making clocks, and we had some blank timber clocks, and we said to these artists, can you just create some beautiful artwork on them. It was an Australian duo, Peaches and Keen, and we auctioned them off, and it was just a beautiful creative piece that we wanted to talk about.
So you thought that'd be shared by a big art blog or whatever, didn't, and your realisation is that, hey, as a small business owner, we need to create our own media platforms in order. I love it.
Absolutely. And to be honest, I think we also realise you can't rely on anyone else to do your job for you. You can only rely on yourself. You're the one that is only going to put in as much effort. No one else is going to be able to put in as much effort as you will. It's your business. So. Would
it be fair to say that let's explore those platforms that you've created, but then in doing that and proving that, hey, you guys create good content, that now it's easier, like you probably would have got shared on that art blog today?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we have multiple times, but we love press and we love media.
Love the sound of your own voice by the sound.
But it's both, and you need to have a really strong network. And I think it's blurring the lines now. I think people expect their retailers to be publishers, to be.
Yes.
It's a blurred line. People want to shop what they see now. So I think the line is quite blurred between publication and retailer.
Shop what they see. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think now you see beautiful imagery. People want to know where to get it.
Yeah, okay.
Gotcha. It's no longer just. I think the space is opening up a lot. It's a lot more tangible, a lot more real. I think Instagram's changed the game a lot with that. It's not an exclusive thing anymore, and we've always maintained maintain that having a home shouldn't be this exclusive thing to make it beautiful. Everybody should be able to make it beautiful and feel comfortable.
Yeah. And our styling is relatable. Like when we produce content, the point being any of our customers can look at it, be inspired, and take out products that will work in their own home. It's not overstyled and
up its own
daunting.
arse, so to speak.
We have zero ego here. So we produce content that we know other people will enjoy, and you can have a laugh at it or relate to it. So
one of the lines that comes through a lot of what I've looked at for Hunting for George is making your home awesome, which is not a tagline, I'm guessing, but it's like a sort of mindset that you have, which even the word awesome, it kind of gets cool. It's like a bit daggy and, but it'll be really cool and not too serious. Yeah. Like Vogue Living is not going to have making your home awesome, So what is the content? What are your top 3 content platforms? You got a blog?
We have a blog, we have social media, and we also have our newsletters, EDMs that we send out.
An EDM?
Yeah.
Goodness me. Do you fax those? Or do you...
We love emails. We take our emails incredibly seriously.
Okay, let's break it down.
Are you subscribed to the Hunting for George newsletter?
Love emails. Don't get enough of them. Hey, what more?
Yeah, I was going to say, usually people are like, please don't email me. I've had enough.
So how do we get over that? Because, I mean, that's true of everyone. We're all inbox kind of fatigue.
Yeah.
Yes.
EDMs are working for you. I think actually emails are fantastic if you get them right. So what are you doing? Or are you getting them right?
Yeah.
You've got a good...
We've got a great open rate. We've got a great conversion rate. Wow. We've just got a really good quality list. And what we do to keep that is to make sure that the content is actually interesting.
Yeah, like what?
For example, last week for the first day of summer, even though we had a torrential rainstorm here in Melbourne, but we changed up the pace a bit. We talked about a summer block party. We put in some recipes, a cocktail that we could talk about with our customers.
Yes. 4 Pillars Gin cocktail.
4 Pillars Gin, a Bloody Floridora. We reached out to them and said, we're doing this, summer block party vibe.
Okay.
Let's,
Okay, so your EDM is it weekly?
Yes, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And every time it is essentially like it's a newsletter. It's a small little, I'm going to use the word e-zine because I haven't used that for about 10 years.
Yeah.
But so you might have a recipe, you might have an interior design tip, you might have...
We link through to our blog, we link through to stories, we always link through to product. I mean, end of the game, we're always trying to sell. And we're not ashamed about that, but we try and sell in a creative manner to keep it exciting for customers. And I think they appreciate that, that we're not just ramming it down their throats.
Yes.
We're creative in how we talk about our product.
Yep.
Even Friday, like we have our own Spotify playlists that people can follow us on. Like we have Friday Beats on a Friday. So it's not always, it's fun. And so we're not always doing the shout out about our products and what you can buy from us. It's mixing it up. It's giving something back. So you're doing a collaboration with 4 Pillars and Cappy Mineral Water. I mean, that's a fun cocktail that people can replicate at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
So giving something back.
How do you, 2 to 3 times a week, listeners are going, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. I can't get one out a week. Can't get one out a month.
I know.
You got a team?
I do now, yeah. So I used to do all the emails myself, and then now I've got a full-time designer, and I also have a part-time senior designer that helps me out as well.
Right.
I pride myself on it because it's not just an email. That's not just one thing that we do. From that creative, then that goes into Instagram story. That goes onto Facebook. That goes onto our journal. So it's creating content, but it's making sure you're putting it across all platforms.
Right, okay, I love it.
Because you need to be wherever your customers want to interact with you as well.
Yes.
Some people might hate emails, like you say, but they might love interacting with us on Instagram. So we make sure that whatever content we create, we repurpose for a lot of different platforms because our customers need to be able to access us whichever way they choose.
I have a little fetish for subject lines in headlines.
Oh, well, we always
Do you?
always test and rate. I mean, honestly, we go... Have you used Subject Line? Subjectline.com or whatever. I think we just
I've used Headline Analyzer.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
And it's fantastic. If we don't get above a 90, doesn't make the cut.
90 open? Oh, 90
No,
rating
90 out of 100.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the cut.
So what's worked? What do you find works? Something that's inspires curiosity, or something that's just like...
Well, the last one we did was stocking fillers and free gelato, because we're giving out free ice cream this
free
weekend.
Works. Free anything works.
And that worked a treat.
World's best headline is free beer.
Yeah, people liked the free ice cream. That worked a treat. It's short and sweet, and it's something interesting and engaging.
Yes.
And it's also mixing it up, because if you're on sale every single day, no one cares. But if for example, you have a promotion and you talk about it, people will open it. So it's also making sure that you mix it up in terms of the subject line.
So EDMs are working. You've got lots of content in there that you're using in other... You're blogging anyway, so you're pulling that in. You're doing photo shoots, you're pulling that in. You've got Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Okay, love it. Just how you're building your list by every time someone buys, they go onto your email list. So you're kind of lucky like that, right? Some businesses don't have that opportunity. Well, everyone has customers, but some businesses have to do a lead magnet, right? And kind of say, you're not doing a lead magnet, you're just saying
we're
list.
trialling, and the only thing that we're finding is if you trying to scale and get numbers, quality drops. And so we've got a really good quality list, but the bigger you go, we want to maintain that quality. So it's a fine line between, do we want a really large database that doesn't really engage, or do we want a smaller database that actually listens to what we have to say, and we have great great open rates. So
what are you using? What CRM are you using?
We're on Infusionsoft.
Infusionsoft. Who said that?
We are looking at other platforms, so and that's the thing with growth and being small, you're constantly evolving, and you always outgrow one system and then need to move on
hard
to the
to outgrow
next.
Infusionsoft. I had the guy from Salesforce last week who spoke, but they're big. It's like a Lamborghini. It's got all the bells and whistles, and you just need to know what you're doing. Okay, blogging. A lot of businesses blog, not enough, I think. I think everyone should be every business should be blogging. The ones that do sometimes don't know what to blog about. So 1 minute they're blogging about a new staff member. Next time there's an award they won. And finally they get to something of interest. Do you have an editorial mission or?
Look, we have some pretty clear brand guidelines, and we're pretty clear about who our brand is and what it's about. Joe and I, on a personal level, we've always said we want to tell our personal story. However, there's a line between telling a story about founders and about how a product was made to getting a bit too personal and talking about things that people don't need to.
That no one cares about.
That no one cares about. So, there are certain things that we sort of do and don't talk about. And we have pretty clear guidelines as well for Instagram, and a checklist, I guess, of
I think that's really important.
Is it about, design? Is it about the home? Is it inspirational? Is it educational? And what does it have to do with us? And if it doesn't tick all the boxes, then we just don't touch
talk
it, really.
about it. No.
Good.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Lucy, you're big on engaging versus educational content.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't think enough people sort of get.
Yeah.
Can we explore that?
We love educational.
So do I.
Engaging, honestly. And it's finding a gap and just running with it. We did, we shot a video, it was years ago now, on how to fold a fitted sheet. And
Joe was the star.
We had no money.
I have seen it.
So I got shoved in front of a camera. I had to teach myself how to fold a fitted sheet, which I did from this woman who's like a Martha Stewart equivalent in the US with like 1 million followers. And we thought, well, let's put our spin on it. Like, this is something, we sell sheets, we sell bed linen, and it's everyone's problem. You ball it up and you shove it in a cupboard and shut the cupboard, and that's it.
My OCD does not allow me to go near a fitted sheet. It freaks me out.
And we thought, well, let's tell this story in our way. And we did it on the cheap.
$100 probably.
Next to nothing. We sat on it for a while, and it was taken up. It went nuts. It was taken up by Lifehacker in the US, who shared it, and it started going viral. It was,
it started trending on YouTube. So I think it took about 3 days. We'd had over 100,000 views, and then that repeated across Facebook. So
how to fold a fitted sheet.
Yeah, so Joe is famous now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But our customers relate to it, and the talking points that came from it, it just generated so many funny conversations, and that's the key. It related to our brand, it related to our customers, and we actually enjoyed doing it. So you're kind of ticking every
We've
box
never been
there.
able to make a video go viral since.
That was it.
We need to find that again. I think because it was so real and authentic, and we were just having fun, and it came from that. You know?
Well, viral videos, boy, oh boy, mate, I've had a few people on here who have created them.
Yeah.
Tom Dixon with Will It Blend,
Yeah,
you know, the
yeah.
blender
Oh,
guy.
yeah. Awesome.
Melissa Coker, LA fashion designer who did First Kiss. Have you seen First Kiss?
no.
Oh, the most
seen
amazing viral video you'll ever see. Won't go into detail here, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it later. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. And I had a guy out of Melbourne who did 8 different viral videos to prove that you can actually manufacture them. You might remember one of them, the guy who jumped into Sydney Harbour and was chased by a shark.
Yes.
Looks
my gosh.
Yeah. So viral videos, who doesn't want one of those? So could you put $1 or a percentage increase? Like, did you sell more fitted sheets as a result of how to fold a fitted sheet video?
Look, I mean, traffic definitely went up. I mean, because it literally had so much exposure. Traffic to our site went up. It didn't necessarily, all those people didn't necessarily buy sheets. However, that's just more exposure for our brand, subscribers, more audience. And we did notice a spike, but it's also hard because you can't attribute certain growth, because if you're in a growth pattern anyway, if you're small and growing, it's hard to always put it down to one thing. But it definitely, I think, just the exposure, it's always hard to put a finger on.
Yeah,
what
and there'll be
your
listeners
branding has done.
business owners go, oh no, but I've got to do the marketing, I've got to be able to track it, and I need to quantify exactly. Well, sometimes you just can't.
With everything you do.
You know? So you've got how to fold a fitted sheet. Now that's educational content done in a relatively entertaining way.
Yep.
But do you also have entertaining content?
Yep. I think for us, it's got to engage. It'd be great if it can educate, and it's got to inspire. If it's all three, that's amazing, but they're the kind of the things that we focus on. The other type of content that is huge for us is just inspirational content, and it's content where we show our users how to use our products in a space, and we inspire them to make their own decisions and to think about
What's an example of that?
Oh, well, yesterday I was on a shoot with all our new products, creating a beautiful home. So we created video content yesterday. We created a whole lot of imagery we'll be launching in February next year. It's just a way for us to bring our brand across and to show a bit more of who we are, and to make products, because we do sell a lot of products that other people sell. So how are we going to sell them better? How are we going to sell them in our way? And that's how we do it. Yeah.
You are in a very competitive marketplace. I mean, you're competing with some very, very big high street brands.
Yeah.
Like a Minimax, for example.
Very much.
Yeah.
Bigger budgets.
Yeah.
So, and everything you've explained so far is kind of how you're creating that point of difference. But is it down to just creating that very unique personality that no one else can own?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a point of difference. We've got a voice. We've got a community because of the voice that we have. And I think that's what we've maintained and helped us grow.
Yeah, right.
We've got a personality. We're not boring,
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. we like to pump ourselves up and think all these things.
No, ego I heard before.
Yeah, true. Apparently. But it is being different.
But here's the thing. Don't you reckon a lot of small businesses are scared of creating the personality and putting your head above the trench?
Very much so. They're worrying about what everyone else is doing and what they're told they should be doing. And if you stop worrying about what people tell you to do and forge your own path, it's very hard to maintain being something that you're not. And people will call you on it every time. So we've always stayed real to who we are, and we are different to the bigger brands because of that personality.
Totally agree.
People come to us because, they're coming into our shop because they're loving coming and meeting us and having a laugh and us helping them through buying some bits and pieces for their home. But they get to have fun. They walk out of there regardless. If someone's enjoyed their stay either on our online store or in our shop, and they walk out having had fun, they're going to talk about it. They're going to come back. They're going to think of us when they need to purchase some art for their home or purchase a present. And I think this is we're not all about the hard sell. Selling products is important, but it's about the experience that people are getting.
So important. Again, personality, a soft marketing strategy, some would say, incredibly important. I had a mortgage broker I used years ago, and we started talking about content marketing, and I said, you should do some videos, because he was, and he said, why? I said, because you're incredibly dry and boring, and you love numbers. And he goes, but isn't that wrong? And I said, no. Your personality, his name's Grant, your personality is such that you're just this numbers freak, and that's all I want in my mortgage broker.
So
these videos he started doing, it's like watching Rain Man, but it's ace, right?
And there's always an audience, and it doesn't matter. You should never look at what other people are doing and be like, who am I? What am I good at? What can I bring to the table? And just go for it. Everybody's different, and you've got to make sure that you maintain real. You make sure you're real.
Keep it
the
real.
Whole thing. Yeah,
I want to do that in a sort of kind of black New Yorker accent, but it's like there's just no way it's going to happen. So we're having a chat with Lucy and Joe, the egoless founders of Hunting for George homewares store.
Never going to lose Joe now.
No, absolutely. Untainted by their success. You have opened up an experience store out in the burbs. Not a pop-up store.
Not a pop-up.
No.
Pop-up's cheap, I hear.
I feel a bit bad because I slandered pop-up. No, we've been doing pop-ups from day one. We were popping up with markets. We were doing pop-ups, on a weekend, but it was more sales-orientated. It was more just to clear stock. And I think this is an experience store, and I wanted to differentiate that from a pop-up, because a pop-up
sounds like a bit of marketing wank to me, but we'll go with it.
Oh my gosh. Well, look, it was a lot of thought was put into it, and essentially,
anyway, let's pop up alone.
We wanted to trial our online concept and bring it into a physical space. So this is a huge testing ground for us. So we're there for 3 months, and we know that there's only, I think, 7% of Australian retailers spent online. So we wanted to know what that looks like in the physical context and what it meant for us.
Sorry, just give me that 7%.
Yeah, I feel. I hope I should.
Yeah, 7% of Australia's spend online. I mean, of retail spend
is online.
Is
that all?
Only 7%.
Small, yeah.
With a bullet.
So we wanted to see what we could do, and the amazing thing with anyone that's got an e-commerce site obviously knows that you've got amazing data. You've got incredible data that you can learn about your customers. You can look at your conversion rates. You look at your traffic. There's so much that you can learn from. With a physical store, you don't necessarily have that. So we made sure that we built in, people counting, so we could track those metrics that we can track online in store, because we really wanted to really compare them. Like, we know what we can do online and we know we're growing, but we have no idea what that means in a physical space in a shopping centre with people walking past.
How's it different to every other homeware shop then?
It looks very different. We've set it up to mirror how we look and come across online. So if you go to our online store, we take you through rooms in your home. It makes sense. And it's comfortable. People feel at home on our site, and that is mirrored in a retail space. So we are quite different. There's a use of colour and a way that people walk in and feel warm. A guy came in the other day and said, this looks like I'm walking into my own home. Like, he said, your colours, he said, this really resonates with me. That from a guy. Like, he...
Did you have a little tear, Joe?
Yeah, and he showed me a photo of his house. He's like, look, as though he needed to prove himself. I'm like, I completely believe you. And it's a lovely thing to hear.
Yeah. And we ran with more of I guess we have a leaner SKU count. We don't have floor-to-ceiling products. We wanted it to be more inspirational because we didn't want to just flood it with our entire product range.
So is your intention, is your hope that people then buy online when they're in the store, or do you...
It's both. It's the in-store sales, but it's also introducing our brand as an online brand that when we're no longer here, please stay as part of our community and continue to shop with us. Now you know who we are, our aesthetic, the quality of products, that there are people behind this brand that you can talk to for advice. We want to maintain those relationships once we're no longer in that physical space. Yeah. And it was, how do we blur the online and offline? So even though we've got a curated range of products in store, if they come in wanting to have a look at art prints, how many have you got? We've got so many. Come and I'll walk you through the iPad and I'll flick you through. Tell me about what interests you. So it's introducing them to our online store, even though they're in store, and we've got the ability to sell products that aren't necessarily there.
Practical things that we did as well. There's always printed material in bags when people place an order so that they are incentivized to go online. At the end of the day, we said to ourselves, if anyone walks into this store, they've got to walk out knowing they can visit huntingforgeorge.com. That's like the end. That's like big picture stuff here. We just want to grow our audience.
So am I hearing to online retailers who, and you've had pop-up stores throughout the journey, you've now got this experience store, are you trying to convince yourself that we have to have a high street presence? Because I've had the girls from Spell and the Gypsy Collective who have got an amazing flagship store in Byron. Couldn't live without it. But I've had the lady from the Not Nourished Life. Help me here. It's
Give me words, Tim.
Yeah.
Give me something.
An online cosmetics brand. She's from Hobart, Tassie. and
Kate Morris.
Kate.
Yeah,
So Adore Beauty.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Kate's had a store and it's got never again.
Yeah. Oh,
So are you trying to convince yourself?
No, we're not convinced of anything. This is a massive test and it's a massive experiment. However, I will say this. So we've always had a physical presence and a showroom that people can come in and choose that avenue to visit us face to face.
You've always had
we've always had that presence, but it hasn't been a high street, beautiful shop. It's just been a
Head office.
It's in a back
office,
street
yeah.
in Richmond, pretty much, where our warehouse is. We transformed part of that.
So great.
And I think...
Is it Cremorne or Richmond?
Richmond,
It's
not the
Richmond.
cool
We're
side
not-
of
we're not
Swan
a good
Street. We're the uncool side.
With the dirty, with the dodgy end.
Egoless, but dodgy.
I think it's important to some degree, but I also think that e-commerce is incredibly powerful and it's scalable, and for a small business, I think e-commerce makes a lot of sense, and our priority will 100% remain online. But we just want to experiment. We can and we will,
Sure.
and we want to know more about who our customers are, and I think it's naive to just think that you know it all without testing it. And we were going to do it eventually, so we're like, we may as well take a risk and do it now and then see where that takes us. So,
of all the things you do and all the things we've spoken about, I'm sure there's things we haven't spoken about in regards to marketing. What's the most effective way for you to get a customer?
Oh. I'll go.
you go. All right.
I was going to say old school word of mouth, but it's probably not the most effective at the moment with all our channels.
I guess our most effective marketing is just organic social media, because organic being that we don't pay for it, and the
So anything you get-
ROI is great.
Well, you do. It takes time.
Yeah.
You do pay for it.
We do
You're
pay
spending
for it.
on photography
Yeah.
and creating the content. Word of mouth. Can I challenge you on that? Because I reckon word of mouth is the result of great marketing. And great marketing can be the result of great product or great customer service. So word of mouth, I hear it all the time. If I'm in a room of 100 small business owners, say, hands up if word of mouth's number one.
Yeah.
Most of them will, but it's like...
But it's all the extras that
What
goes
are you
into
doing to
getting
get the
that.
word of mouth?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But if you have that consistent and that great brand experience, then you get the word of mouth from it. But you're right, it's all the background stuff that you need to do to be able to get that.
Is there, you haven't really answered my question, but I'm just going with the fact that everything you do is a test and some of it works and some of it doesn't. But it's also not unusual for someone to not know what's really working, because it is like having 10 balls in the air knowing that a couple are going to hit the ground and, you know.
Yeah, you've just got to take a punt, and it's about taking risks, to be
I
honest.
agree.
And we've made plenty of mistakes.
That's
We've
just
done
being a
things that
small
will-
business, isn't it? You have to try different things.
Yes.
And someone who we still go to every now and then for advice, he said, you throw a dozen stones down a hill and chase the one that goes fastest. So it's so simplistic, but it's so true. You've got to try different things and then make sure you're confident enough to follow the ones that are working.
You are brave business owners. Is there something you haven't tried that kind of scares you a bit and keep putting off?
This physical space for us was probably our biggest challenge.
Yeah,
I think. And
what have we not tried, though?
I don't know what we
Podcasting. That's what you haven't
We
tried.
should do
maybe.
podcasting, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Look, I think whenever we are nervous as business owners or feel like we're out of our depth in certain areas, we just make sure we reach out and surround ourselves with people that can help us. And whether or not they're part of the team or if we're just roping in friends, I think any small business needs to just rely on their network. And if you ever feel out of depth, to make sure you can fill the gap elsewhere.
Yep.
But
Love it.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. I think it's an
you.
inspiring story.
Thanks,
Probably
Tim.
feels like in day one or two, plenty of upside.
Tell you what.
93% by the sounds of it in terms of people buying online. Thank you for sharing. And
Thank you.
huntingforgeorge.com.
That is correct.
Buy it. I think you get, is it a 50% discount for small businesses? No, I don't know.
We should create a Tim Reid special.
Hello. Hello.
All right, I'll get my marketing team to create it.
I would love it.
There you go,
Tim Reid
20%
coffee mug
for
or
Tim
something.
Reid.
I think you'd love it. Love it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having us.
much.
Well, there you go. Sisters Jo and Lucy, founders of Hunting for George. Great advice at the end there about surrounding yourself with good people. If you just did that one thing for the next month, identifying who those 5 people that you should surround yourself with are, then you may well find your business steps it up a level or 2. Coming up, I'm going to share my top 3 attention grabbers from that fireside chat with Jo and Lucy. Plus, Melbourne SEO Services Dave Jennings and I will show you how to get your website working harder for you. Here's a money-making tip from American Express member and 4 Pillars Gin founder Stu Gregor.
I, for the life of me, don't understand why a business won't accept Amex, because what you're potentially doing is knocking back customers who want to spend money on your product or your brand or your service or whatever it is. And I frankly don't understand it. If someone wants to give me their Amex and buy 10 bottles of gin, I tell you what, I'll take their Amex, thanks very much. You're potentially also denying yourself a big chunk of corporate business as well. You know, because a lot of sales guys, I know me in my own business, I use Amex. And if I go to, if I ring to make a booking at a restaurant or a bar or something, I say, do you accept Amex? And they say no, I go somewhere else. So they don't even know the business they're missing out on. It beggars belief. And I often find myself having these rather awkward conversations at the with a shopkeeper or a bar owner or a restaurateur saying, why wouldn't you take it? I'll pay you the extra. I'll pay 1.5, the credit card service fee or whatever you want. Take my money.
It's Business 101, really. Make it easy for people to give you money. Speaking of money, the American Express Business Explorer credit card comes with 50,000 bonus points every year, a low interest rate, and 2 points on every dollar you spend. Not to mention a couple of tickets to the very swish Amex Lounge at Sydney International Airport. Search Amex Business to find out more. New American Express card members only. Terms and conditions apply. Cash flow in business is everything, right? That's why I'm excited to introduce you to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to Aussie small businesses. But don't take my word for it. Small business owner Nioli Scobie of Truly Tea won the contract to supply the Opera House and needed to quickly ship tens of thousands of tea bags and 2 tons of loose leaf tea. Where was she going to get the money for that?
Well, I already supplied part of the Opera House, and then they offered me inside the Opera House, which is a very big deal, and I had to have a lot of stock on hand. They place an order, they want it the next day, and I wasn't going to say no to them. I'd knocked back too many opportunities in the past, so I phoned up a finance guy I trusted. He said, look, there's a new player on the market, Prosper, give them a call. I gave them a call, and within 24 hours, I had the money in the bank.
Prosper, Prospa. That's where she got the money. Apply online in 10 minutes to borrow up to $250,000. Call 1300 882 867 or visit prosper.com/Timbo. Righto, my top 3 attention grabbers from my chat with Hunting for George's Jo and Lucy, thanks to Prosper and American Express. Attention grabber number 1. in regards to content creation, and I quote Lucy here, you can't rely on others, so create your own channels, end quote. You know how big I am on that team. You know, it's great to get a guest blog post on someone else's blog or an article in a magazine or an interview on radio. Absolutely chase those opportunities, but also be creating your own media channel that you can talk about your product, your service, your beautiful business on, okay? That's why I podcast. All right, so what's your channel? Could be a YouTube channel, could be a blog, could be a podcast, could be whatever it may be. Okay, attention grabber number 2. Create content that educates. Now, absolutely love that, but don't be afraid to also engage and, dare I say, entertain with your content. You know, Hunting for George's How to Fold a Fitted Sheet video is a great example of doing both, and clearly the proof is in the pudding in that it's worked its pants off. It's had a lot of engagement and led to a lot of sales. Attention grabber number 3. The community section on the Hunting for George website is, I think, a genius idea. And we didn't talk about it in too much detail in the interview, but they've got this link called Hunting for George Radio. Now, it simply links to Spotify, and they've created playlists called Hump Day Pick-Me-Ups, Motivate Me Mondays, Sunday Soul, and Friday Beats. So these are all playlists the guys at Hunting for George have created, and it's just a fun little thing to give back to the community. Hunting for George Radio, I love it. That's what grabbed my attention. Would love to know what grabbed yours. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Don't know why I did that in an Indian accent, and a really poor one at that, /398, and let me know.
Ignite your site.
You know, with so many underperforming business websites out there, this segment is laser focused on ensuring yours is not one of them. To get your website found and your phone ringing, we're joined by Dave Jennings of melbourneseoservices.com. DJ, what is on your mind?
Timbo, I can't believe how many websites I visit. I want to pick up the phone and call them, but I can't find their contact details.
Buddy, why? Why does it need to be that way? Like, I go to a website, maybe I want to look at the business's product or services, but I'll probably want to email them, phone them, maybe even pay them a visit, and it's really hard to find their contact details.
And it's really just 101, at least I think. Here's what I would do. I'd make sure that the phone number is in the top right-hand corner of the website.
Oh, genius.
I'd make sure it's in the footer.
Stop it.
I'd have a Contact Us page, and on the Contact Us page, I'd put the phone number, the opening hours, and their address.
Oh, wow. You have gone to town on this one. But we laugh and we make light of it. But really, some of the simplest ways to get a website working for the business are quite, very simple, to tell you the truth.
Most people end up missing them as well. This is just one of 20 proven ways to get found in Google and get more people through your door. If you email me, dave@melbourneseoservices.com, write Ignite in the subject, and you'll receive my free authority website checklist.
Oh, nice. Thanks, DJ. That is just one more way to
Ignite your site.
Hey, there you go. The first segment of Ignite Your Site. I hope you found it beneficial. There's plenty more of that coming your way in the weeks ahead. You and I cover some serious marketing ground in this show. Have you listened to the chat we had recently with the Healthy Guts, Rebecca Coombs? She was struggling selling her high-priced core product up front, so she created a fancy but very effective ascending transaction model.
I set up an initial coaching program, but I wasn't known. So the value that I was offering didn't seem great because...
Nobody.
No, I was just a nobody.
Yep.
So I actually had
nobody.
to... Yeah, a sick nobody. Getting better nobody. So I actually had to put the core product on hold, and I've only just launched it in the last week. And I went and spent a lot of time, energy, money and effort on my gifts and my product for prospects. So building the cookbooks and my product for prospect gifts. I've run a lot of workshops where I'm out talking to people all the time about gut health, and then doing things like my podcast. I've run a SIBO cooking show on YouTube. All of this free content that people can gorge on.
Yeah, that's a great story. And boy, does Rebecca go on to reveal some amazing tips on how to create a profitable sales funnel, which is essentially what an ascending transaction model is. You'll find that full interview over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/357, or you can subscribe free on your favourite podcast app, which I would highly recommend that you do. Then you'll never miss an episode. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. Hit the contact button over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, where you can email me, hit me up on social media, buy a copy of my book. Big thank you to American Express Business Explorer credit card for making this show possible. It's the credit card that ensures your business expenses reward you, which is kind of a nice idea. Counterintuitive, but I like the idea of that. Search Amex Business. And be sure to check out Prosper, PROSPA, who are Australia's #1 online lender to small businesses. You can quickly apply online for loans up to $250,000, get a fast decision, and in most cases receive the funding in under 24 hours. You can visit prosper.com/Timbo, or give them a buzz. Tell them Timbo sent you on 1300 882 867. If you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, then let another business owner know about it. That would be hugely appreciated. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.